Heartwarming revelation. A little girl exposes an incredible ugly look-alike that transforms hearts and minds. Lily was the sunshine of Coal Creek, a small Midwestern town where whispers of hardship floated alongside the summer breeze. At just 10 years old, she was bursting with a spirit that lit up the darkest corners. But life had cast a long shadow over her family ever since her dad lost his job at the factory. With every passing day, the weight of that loss grew heavier, like a stone in her chest. And as she roamed the school halls, searching for a place to belong, she found herself dodging the barbs of classmates who thrived on bullying those who didn't have much. Every day felt like a battle. But there was Mia, her unwavering friend, reminding her of the beauty that could still bloom in their troubled town. Together, they shared dreams, laughter, and hot cocoa at the corner cafe, their world rich with the warmth of loyal friendship. One day, Lily wandered beyond the familiar sights of Coal Creek, her heart heavy with worry. It was there that she stumbled into Mrs. Knapp, a woman whom most kids deemed ugly because of her disheveled appearance and weathered home. Society had tucked her away, but something in Mrs. Knapp's eyes shimmered like a rare jewel. The stories hidden behind that wrinkled face sparked an undeniable curiosity in Lily. As they settled down with cups of steaming tea, Lily discovered that this seemingly forgotten woman was a painter. Her art, breathtaking yet painted with the colors of sorrow, had been stifled by tragedy. Each brushstroke told the tale of lost beauty and resilience. Lily sat in awe, captivated by the passion that poured from Mrs. Knapp's heart. "You've got so much talent," she exclaimed, her eyes wide. To her surprise, a smile cracked Mrs. Knapp's weathered face, revealing a flicker of hope. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. When word spread about a local art competition that could transform lives, Lily saw a chance. Instead of showcasing her own work, she made a heart-stopping decision: she would feature Mrs. Knapp's art. Her classmates' reactions were swift and cruel, their laughter echoing through the school like thunder. "Why would you pick her?" they mocked, eyes wide with disbelief. But Lily felt the fire of righteousness heat her blood. Her heart pounded as she stood before her peers, navigating her own insecurities. Pawing at the fabric of her courage, she found strength in the values she believed in. She's beautiful inside and out. It's about the art, not the person, she defended, desperate for compassion to seep into their young minds. But a knot tightened in her stomach as whispers swirled around her as the competition approached. Lily struggled, balancing the worth of her friendship with her classmates against the unyielding need to uplift Mrs. Knapp. Doubts threatened to engulf her like a tidal wave. Many would question her loyalty, yet her heart whispered loudest of all. Would she dare to choose kindness over conformity? Would she have the courage to stand by Mrs. Knapp when the world seemed to turn away? As the days slipped by, the moment of truth loomed closer. Lily felt the weight of her decision pressing down. Would love and understanding prevail over the harsh judgments of society? The answer danced just out of reach, hanging on the brink as uncertainty loomed like a shadow, and Lily's heart raced in anticipation. What lay ahead would define not just her story, but the very fabric of their community. As the sun dipped low in the sky, casting a golden hue over Coal Creek, Lily faced the competition with her heart racing in her chest. She glanced over at Mrs. Knapp, who stood beside her, a mix of excitement and fear playing across her features. The old woman had shared her dreams with Lily, dreams of a life where her art shone bright instead of being hidden away like an old photograph. Now it was here, out in the open, for the world to see. At school, Lily could feel the weight of unkind eyes on her. She braced herself for the comments that were sure to come. "Just look at her," they'd scoff. Yet here was Mrs. Knapp, her frail hands trembling slightly, but excitement lighting up her eyes. "Lily, my dear," she said, her voice a melody that soothed Lily's nerves. I'm grateful no matter the outcome. But gratitude wasn't enough to quell the storm brewing inside Lily. She thought of her dad, still searching for work, of how their situation seemed to paint the world dark. Yet in front of her, Mrs. Knapp was a burst of color, displaying bravery that Lily wished she could emulate fully. The contest took place in the town's community center, decorated with pastel streamers and the smell of fresh pastries wafting through the air. Lily and Mrs. Knapp arrived early. The room buzzed with chatter, filled with families, artists, and curious bystanders. Framed pieces of art lined the walls, each telling stories of their own suffering, hope, joy. Lily caught sight of her classmates, clustered together, whispering and pointing. An uneasy feeling settled in her stomach. Mia, noticing Lily's hesitation, squeezed her hand and murmured, "Remember why you're doing this." Her words inspired a flicker of courage. She let go of Mia's hand and turned to Mrs. Knapp. "Are you ready?" Lily asked, her voice a steady whisper. Mrs. Knapp nodded, a serene smile on her face. "This moment is ours, my dear. Let us give them something to think about." With a deep breath, they stepped into the spotlight of the gathering. The room quieted as the crowd turned to look at them, curiosity mingling with disdain in the eyes of her peers. Mrs. Knapp's art, vibrant and alive, was laid bare for all to see. Each piece conveyed a story, one of struggle and survival, but also of beauty and resilience. As people moved from painting to painting, Lily put her heart on the line. "These aren't just paintings," she spoke, her voice rising above the whispers. "They're pieces of someone who has lived and loved. They're filled with pain, yes, but also hope. Don't you see?" Some in the crowd began to nod. Others still sneered, toughened by ignorance. But Lily pressed on, her words spilling out like water breaking through a dam. "Art shouldn't be judged by who creates it, but by what it can inspire within us." Mrs. Knapp's hand grasped Lily's, squeezing it tightly. "Keep going, dear," she encouraged. As the vote drew nearer, Lily felt a swell of emotion. Being there with Mrs. Knapp, witnessing her courage and strength, it felt like a moment that could change everything. As they waited for the results, uncertainty gripped her. Then, the announcer stood at the front of the room, clearing his throat. "And the winner is..." The moment seemed like eternity. The entire crowd leaned forward, hearts collectively beating in anticipation. But just then, the doors swung open with a crash. A figure stepped into the room, someone Lily recognized instantly. A chill washed over her. What would their presence mean for Mrs. Knapp? Lily's heart raced as she realized that everything she worked for was about to be challenged. The figure who entered the room was none other than Mr. Thompson, the owner of the local art store and a well-known art critic in Coal Creek. His imposing stature filled the doorway, and for a moment, everyone froze, uncertainty hanging in the air like a thick fog. The whispers quieted, and all eyes turned to him. Those once occupied with Mrs. Knapp's art now fixated on this unexpected intruder. Lily's stomach twisted. She could still hear the rumors swirling around about Mr. Thompson's bitter views on unconventional art. The last thing they needed was his harsh judgment. He had the power to uplift them or shatter the fragile courage they had built through this moment. Mrs. Knapp, sensing Lily's fear, lifted her chin. "We carry our truth," she said softly. "No one can take that away from us." And yet, Lily wondered if Mrs. Knapp truly believed it. Mr. Thompson walked slowly, his gaze sweeping over the paintings, studying each color and brushstroke with an intensity that made Lily's heart race. Just when she thought he might dismiss them, he stopped in front of one of Mrs. Knapp's pieces, a stunning landscape filled with both dark shadows and light rays bursting through the clouds. "Interesting," he finally said, his voice low and almost rumbling. The crowd held its breath. "It's raw. I suppose there's a certain beauty in that." Lily felt a spark of hope, but just as quickly as it surged, doubt clouded it. Would this be a moment of redemption, or would he twist his words like a knife? Lily stepped forward, a rush of bravery washing over her. "It's not just a painting. It's Mrs. Knapp's life. Each stroke tells a story of her struggles, of real emotions." Her voice trembled, but she stood firm, looking at Mr. Thompson as if he were the only one in the room. He raised an eyebrow, intrigued. So, you believe art should be about emotion, not technique? Yes, Lily exclaimed, surprised by her own fervor. Art is meant to connect us. It's about life, not just perspective. A murmur rippled through the audience, more engaging than earlier. She could see their eyes shifting, curiosity overtaking skepticism. Mrs. Knapp stood taller, strength exuding from her as she listened. Mr. Thompson tilted his head, his expression softening slightly. You've got the passion, kid. That's undeniable. But in a town like this, where appearances rule, it's a hard battle to win. But why does it have to be that way? Lily shot back, feeling a fire ignite within her. Can't we see beyond what we expect? Can't we allow our hearts to decide what's beautiful? The crowd shifted. Lily could see nods and hear murmurs of agreement. She looked at Mia, who offered a thumbs up and a wide grin. Encouraged by her friend's support, Lily kept talking. Mrs. Knapp's artwork represents hope. She's never allowed the world to dim her spirit. And she shouldn't have to. This art can change lives, including your own, if you just give it a chance. A flicker of acknowledgement sparked in Mr. Thompson's eyes. For a heartbeat, the tension lifted slightly. Just as it seemed they were on the verge of a breakthrough, the announcer cleared his throat again, holding up the voting cards. All right, everyone, it's time to reveal the results. Lily clasped her hands tightly, heart racing once more. This was it. All her words, all Mrs. Knapp's hopes, it was all leading up to this moment. But then, Lily noticed something. Mr. Thompson was still looking at Mrs. Knapp's painting, a deep frown forming on his face. Was that regret she saw? Hold on, she whispered, the realization hitting her. Did he see something in that painting that could change everything? The announcer began calling names, but as they entered the final stretch, Lily could feel the room holding its breath. What had she unleashed? And would this unpredictable evening take a turn she never expected? The announcer's voice echoed in the air, a steady heartbeat in the suspenseful silence. And the winner of the Best in Show. He paused dramatically, scanning the crowd with a smile that felt too thin for the tension in the room. Is Mrs. Knapp? A wave of gasps and cheers erupted. Lily's heart soared, tears pricking her eyes. She turned to Mrs. Knapp, who was already tearing up, a hand clamped over her mouth in disbelief. But then, almost instinctively, they both turned to Mr. Thompson, searching for his reaction. His brows were knitted together, a mix of approval and something else deep within his eyes. It was as if he were wrestling with a truth he had long suppressed. Just as the crowd began to chant Mrs. Knapp's name, she caught Mr. Thompson's gaze and held it, a silent conversation passing between them. His expression softened slightly, revealing vulnerability that contradicted his harsh reputation. Lily, fueled by adrenaline, stepped back to the front of everyone. Mr. Thompson, what do you think? Her voice rang with youthful confidence that surprised even herself. Isn't this art worth celebrating? He blinked, clearly taken aback by her forwardness. The room fell quiet again, all eyes trained on him. I appreciate the rawness in her work. He hesitated. It pushes against the mundane views of art that we often cling to. That isn't easy to accept. Then why not embrace it? Lily asked, her voice unwavering. Isn't beauty about breaking those rules? A smirk flickered on Mr. Thompson's lips, revealing cracks in his hardened exterior. A bold statement for someone so young. I admire your courage. The crowd stirred with laughter, fueled by Mr. Thompson's unexpected warmth. Lily felt a swell of triumph. Maybe this unexpected encounter was shifting the narrative for everyone. Maybe even for him. Mrs. Knapp stepped forward, her voice quivering with emotion. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Art has always been about connection. I've lived in this town for so long, and I've poured everything into my work. To hear you recognize that means more than you know. His expression darkened momentarily. Mrs. Knapp, I've been too caught up in my own views to see the true potential out there. You've managed to flip the script on everything. I believe the tension hung in the air again, heavy yet fragile. A vulnerability had broken through Mr. Thompson's facade. It was a moment of reckoning for him, and for everyone in the room. The audience held their breath, everyone sensing they were on the brink of something profound. Then, in a surprising turn, Mr. Thompson stepped to the side, allowing himself to be overshadowed by the glowing aura of Mrs. Knapp's win. Art deserves a place without judgment. It should be celebrated even when it's messy and raw. Cheers erupted again, this time with an entirely different energy, one of unity and acceptance. It echoed across the gallery, enveloping them all in a collective warmth. As the applause rang out, Lily glanced at Mia, who was bouncing up and down with excitement. But a new worry tugged at the edges of her happiness. What's next for Mrs. Knapp? She thought. Would this victory lead to more doors opening, or could it drive away the very critics that had once shunned her? Suddenly, Lily caught Mr. Thompson's gaze again. He was watching her, an enigmatic look on his face. Perhaps I could help you find her a bigger stage, he proposed. Somewhere beyond Coal Creek. Hope blossomed in Lily's chest, but uncertainty shadowed it. Was this an invitation, or just another illusion? Before she could speak, the announcer's voice surged again. And to honor this incredible night, we have a special announcement. Lily leaned in, breath held tight. What could this possibly mean? Would it be the tipping point they needed, or something that could unravel everything? The announcer's voice reverberated again, cutting through the excitement. Tonight, we are unveiling a brand new program to foster local artists. Starting next month, we will host a series of workshops and showcases to give our talent a chance to shine. This announcement filled the crowd with a cacophony of cheers and joyful laughter. Lily felt her heart race. A series of workshops? This could be a game-changer for Mrs. Knapp. She looked to her mentor, who wore a look of disbelief. The mixture of excitement and fear was evident on her face. Would she be ready to step into this new spotlight? As Mrs. Knapp stepped forward, the crowd hushed again. This is incredible, she managed, her voice shaking slightly. I've always dreamed about sharing my art with a wider audience. To have a real chance to connect with people, it means everything. Mr. Thompson smiled genuinely, his earlier doubts melting away. You deserve this opportunity, Mrs. Knapp. Your art has always had the power to touch hearts. I look forward to working with you on this. Lily watched as they exchanged a hopeful glance. Felt like the world around them was shifting. The old guard may finally be giving way to fresh perspectives. But as joy rang through the crowd, a different kind of anxiety settled in the pit of Lily's stomach. What if this moment was just a fleeting spark, and the warmth it generated was soon forgotten? Mia pulled at her sleeve, her eyes wide with excitement. Lily, we should sign up too. We can be part of the workshops. The enthusiasm radiating from her friend was infectious. But Lily hesitated. What if we're not good enough? She whispered back, fear creeping into her voice. Mia raised an eyebrow. Why would you think that? We've always had something special, just like Mrs. Knapp. Besides, if she can do it, so can we. The thought hung in the air, and Lily swallowed hard. You really think so? Of course. We can't let fear hold us back. This is our moment. Lily felt a flicker of confidence. Maybe Mia was right. This was their chance too. Though the path ahead seemed daunting, she couldn't ignore the pull of her dreams. Just then, the announcer continued, and in addition to this new program, we will also be spotlighting an emerging artist during each showcase. The selected artist will have the opportunity for a solo exhibition at the end of the series. Excitement rippled through the gallery again. Lily's breath caught. This could change everything. She could envision Mrs. Knapp's pieces celebrated in a grand setting, and for a moment, she could even see herself there, gifting the world with her own creations. As thoughts of what could be raced through her mind, Lily realized this was the moment to embrace, to let go of her fears and pursue the passion that always bubbled just beneath the surface. Let us do it, she declared, holding Mia's hand tightly. Let us take the leap together. But even as resolve filled her chest, the uncertainty loomed larger than ever. Would they be met with the same open hearts as Mrs. Knapp? Would Mr. Thompson support them with this new chapter of their lives? With her mind racing and the thrill of the unknown hovering in the air, she could only wonder what happens when dreams finally confront reality. The gallery buzzed with excitement, but all Lily could hear was the pounding of her heart. It felt like a drumbeat echoing the uncertainty swirling inside her mind. She glanced at Mia, who was practically bouncing on her feet, embodying a spirit Lily longed to capture. "Okay, so we're doing this?" Mia asked, her eyes sparkling. Lily took a deep breath. "Yeah, we're doing this." The weight of her decision pressed down on her, but it also lifted her spirits. Together, they would try to break through the walls of doubt. They cautiously made their way toward the sign-up table, their steps hesitant but determined as they approached. Lily's eyes drifted over the crowd, landing on Mrs. Knapp. The older woman stood surrounded by fellow artists, all animatedly discussing their hopes for the new workshops. Her smile was radiant, giving Lily a sense of warmth. But it was a fleeting moment, quickly overshadowed by her fears again. "What if we're out of our league?" Lily muttered, biting her lip. Mia shook her head. "You've got to stop that. Remember what Mrs. Knapp said? It's our chance to connect. We can do this, Lily. Just think about how much we love creating." Their turn came, and the woman at the table greeted them with a warm smile. "Welcome. Ready to sign up for the workshops?" "Yes," Mia chirped, while Lily hesitated. But the sound of her friend's enthusiasm was like a gentle nudge. She pulled out the pen, signing her name alongside Mia's with a freedom that surprised her. "Great. You'll love it here." The woman beamed, and for a brief moment, Lily took strength from that smile. It felt like an affirmation, a promising start. As they walked away from the table, Lily's phone buzzed in her pocket. It was a text from her mom. It simply read, "So proud of you. Can't wait to see what you create." Warmth spread through her chest. Support, a treasure she couldn't take for granted. "My mom believes in me, maybe I can believe in myself too," she said softly. Mia elbowed her playfully. "See? It's already starting to happen." They spent the rest of the evening imagining what their first workshop would be like. Paint splatters on the floor, laughter echoing off the walls, and voices blending in a chorus of creativity. But beneath the excitement remained a twinge of fear. What if their efforts fell flat? Hours later, when the gallery started to empty, the weight of the day began to settle in. As they stepped out into the night air, the cool breeze brushed against their faces, invigorating their spirits. "Can you believe we're actually going to do this?" Mia exclaimed, her voice almost drowned out by passing cars. Lily smiled, though a part of her still felt uncertain. "I can't. But I know we'll give it our all." In the quiet of the street, they walked side by side, both dreaming of the future, the workshops, the art, the connections that would spark. But just as those dreams began to feel tangible, Lily's thoughts darkened. "Do you think Mr. Thompson will really support us?" she asked. The earlier excitement dimmed slightly as doubt crept back in. "We won't know until we try," Mia replied gently, squeezing her hand. As they rounded the corner toward home, their smiles began to fade, replaced by a shadow of anxiety. They were stepping into the unknown, where dreams mingled with the bitter taste of fear. What if this was more than they bargained for? What if the workshops brought out their insecurities instead of their talents? As that question hung in the air, a realization washed over Lily. This was just the beginning of a journey that required courage beyond anything she had known before. Would they rise to meet the challenges ahead? Or would they stumble before their dreams could take flight? The morning sun peeked through Lily's window, bathing her room in a golden glow. She opened her eyes slowly, feeling the warmth wash over her. Today was the day. She could hardly contain her excitement and nerves as she remembered the sign-up. Today marked the beginning of their workshops. Mia sent a morning text. "Ready to create magic today?" Lily's heart fluttered. "Let us do this," she replied, her fingers dancing over the screen. As she got ready, Lily felt a mix of anxiety and hope curling in her stomach, like butterflies trying to break free. She adorned herself in her favorite paint-splattered overalls. Standing in front of the mirror, she felt like a warrior gearing up for battle. You got this, she whispered. But as she turned away, a nagging thought tugged at her confidence. What if today did not go as planned? Arriving at the gallery, the air buzzed with anticipation. Artists milled about, discussing colors and brushes, chattering with an energy that felt contagious. Mia grabbed her hand, pulling her toward their designated space. Look, we're here. This is all ours. She beamed, pointing to a large blank canvas set up in the corner. Lily felt her heart race again, not with fear, but with the thrill of a new beginning. Okay, let us start. They cracked open the paints, and the bright colors spilled across the palette like a vibrant rainbow. They both lost themselves in the moment, laughter and creativity blending in a beautiful chaos. As they painted, Lily noticed a small group of people gathering nearby. Mr. Thompson stood among them, hands folded, observing. Her stomach flipped. Would he come over? Would he think their work was good enough? Suddenly, he approached, and Lily's heart raced uncontrollably. Looks like you two are really getting into it, he said, nodding at their canvas, splashed with color, where their dreams were taking shape. Lily tried to read his expression, seeking approval. Thanks. That is creative. He interrupted, a genuine smile lighting up his face. What are you going to name this piece? She glanced at Mia, who simply shrugged, grinning back at Lily, ready for the leap. Our journey, Lily blurted, and for the first time that morning doubt started to fade. It embodies ambition, Mr. Thompson replied, and I can see you both pouring your hearts into it. That's important. Lily's heart swelled. Maybe they weren't destined to fail after all. But then, as she stepped back to admire their work, she noticed a woman from the crowd staring at them, arms crossed and an eyebrow raised. What is this? The woman asked. Her voice dripped with cynicism. It looks like a mess to me. Lily's face fell. The woman's words felt like ice water. The room quieted, all eyes shifting toward them. Excuse me? Mia said, defensive. Lily's heart pounded, each beat a reminder of what they were there to do. But the sting of doubt crept back in. What if she was right? Let it go, Mia, Lily managed to say, struggling to maintain her composure. We're just starting. The tension tangled in the air, a fragile thread threatening to snap. Did this woman's opinion matter? Could they rise above the negativity? Mia shot Lily a look of encouragement, but doubt started to crawl back into the corners of Lily's heart. Would they really have the strength to push through? As the crowd murmured uncertainly, the gallery felt smaller, the space wrapping around them like a tightening vice. They had just begun their adventure, yet already, outside negativity threatened to overshadow their dreams. Are we really ready for this? Lily whispered under her breath, knowing deep inside she had to confront her fears. And then, just as the words left her lips, a familiar voice broke through the murmur. Was it Mrs. Knapp? Sometimes, the best art comes from the heart no matter what anyone thinks. Would her words be enough to embolden them against the shadow of doubt? Or would this day bring more challenges than they ever imagined? The murmurs quieted, and all eyes turned toward Mrs. Knapp. She stood tall, an anchor of reassurance amidst the chaos. Her piercing gaze seemed to hold the room together, knitting the tension into something softer. Lily sensed a shift. Mrs. Knapp had a way of cutting through the noise, reminding everyone why they were here in the first place. Art is not about perfection, she continued, her voice steady and warm, but about the expression, the feelings you pour into it. Remember that. Lily felt a flicker of hope igniting inside her. Maybe that was the truth she needed to hold on to. She exchanged a glance with Mia, who nodded back with newfound determination. Encouraged, Lily stepped forward, voice slightly louder than before. We may not be perfect, but this piece represents our story. The colors, the chaos, everything is intentional. The woman who had fanned doubt stepped back slightly, perhaps surprised at the defiance. The crowd shifted. She was outnumbered by a wave of support. Exactly, Mia chimed in. Every stroke of paint reflects where we've been and where we're going. Lily could feel the warmth radiating around her. Mr. Thompson joined in. Art speaks when words cannot. And your piece, it's telling a story worthy of notice. Appreciative murmurs flowed through the crowd. Lily's heart raced not from fear, but from the thrill of support. She glanced back at the painted canvas, vibrant and chaotic, now standing as a symbol of their perseverance. "What if we keep going?" Lily asked Mia, her voice brimming with excitement. "Let us turn this mess into something intentional." Mia's eyes sparkled, and she grinned wide. "Absolutely. Let us show them what we're made of." They returned to the canvas, energy inflating their enthusiasm like balloons, ready to take flight. Brushes dipped into fresh paint, their colors blending and swirling, now weaving a tapestry of dreams instead of insecurities. Lily felt reborn in the moment, channeling laughter and collaboration into each stroke. No more hesitation. They were in a dance of creativity, each move breathing life into the canvas. The gallery around them began to pulse with energy, observers captivated by their transformation. As they lost themselves in the process, the contrast between the initial doubt and resilient spirit was striking. The crowd watched, some faces smiling, others leaning in closer, their skepticism melting away. Mrs. Knapp squeezed through the gathering, leaning in to whisper with pride, "Remember, Lily, sometimes it takes pushing through the noise to discover your true voice. Trust in yourself." Lily turned to Mia, feeling a surge of unity. "We're creating something new," she said, "and nobody can take that away from us." Working side by side, paint splattered across their cheeks, they began to see the piece evolve. With each swirl of color, the negativity that hovered earlier drifted away. Diana's harsh words turned into whispers of the past as the new energy took over. Watching their evolving masterpiece, Lily couldn't help but feel a sense of responsibility. They were not just creating art. They were creating a message of resilience. As the final touches were added, the room held its breath, all eyes still on the canvas. Would they really pull this off? But just before they could step back to admire their work, the doors of the gallery burst open. An unexpected figure slowly stepped inside, a tall man, familiar yet foreign, who seemed to bring in an aura of both excitement and apprehension. What was he doing here? Lily's pulse quickened. Would he be a friend or a new challenge? In that moment, everything felt electric, the excitement, the vulnerability, and hopes crashing against the reality that awaited them. Could they handle whatever he brought with him? Lily held her breath, her heart pounding against her ribcage. The man who had walked in was none other than Caleb, her older brother. They had been inseparable as kids, but over the years, life pushed them apart in ways that both baffled and hurt her. She could hardly believe he was here now, standing in front of her amidst the buzzing gallery. "Caleb?" she called out, her voice barely rising above the quiet chatter of the attendees. He looked up, startled, as if pulled out of his own thoughts. Recognition spread across his face, followed by a flicker of hesitation. He stepped further into the gallery, a mix of caution and curiosity on his features. Lily felt a wave of emotions crash over her: joy, confusion, and a hint of fear. She remembered the last time they had spoken. A cold argument over choices, dreams, and the distance that had grown between them. "What are you doing here?" she asked, giving her friend Mia a quick glance. Her friend raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "I saw the announcements about the exhibit. Something pulled me here," Caleb replied, his voice low, almost uncertain. Lily took a step closer. The paint on her hands felt heavy, like a weight tying her to the moment. "You came to see our piece? To see me?" He nodded, but his eyes darted to the canvas behind her, absorbing the chaos of color and emotion spilling across the surface. The earlier doubts she had forgotten suddenly crept in again. Had he come to judge or to simply observe? "This different," he said slowly, trying to get the words out. "I mean, I've never seen something like this from you before." His expression softened as he looked back into her eyes, as though searching for meaning. Mia took a step forward, sensing the tension. "It's a reflection of who we are," she interjected, her voice bright and confident. "It's about our journey, our struggles." Caleb seemed interested, even intrigued by Mia's enthusiasm. "I can see that," he replied, the corners of his mouth lifting a bit. Lily's heart warmed a little. Maybe he could see it, too, the message they weren't just trying to present to the gallery but to themselves. Lily, he started, and for a moment, the chaotic sounds of the gallery faded away, leaving just the two of them in a bubble of emotions. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have stayed away. I want to understand you, what you've been doing. A cheer from the crowd broke the moment. Someone exclaimed, "Look at how vibrant that is." The gallery felt alive, and Lily realized everyone was watching her now, waiting. "Come help us," she blurted out, a sudden rush of excitement overwhelming her. "We're not done yet. We could use another set of hands, another perspective." Caleb looked taken aback but quickly cracked a smile, almost as if he couldn't quite believe what he was hearing. "Are you serious?" "Yes. Art is meant to be shared." Lily's voice cracked with enthusiasm, echoing Mrs. Knapp's wisdom. "Help us finish it." With an almost giddy rush, she gestured toward the brushes. The crowd seemed to lean in, all eyes on the newly reunited siblings. "Let us do this together." Lily felt that familiar bond sparking back to life, a connection she thought might be lost forever. Caleb hesitated for just a moment, then nodded, stepping forward. "Okay, let us see what this canvas has to say." As he dipped his brush into the vibrant paint, the energy in the room shifted once more. Laughter and chatter resumed, creating a wave of camaraderie that enveloped them. But just as they started painting together, a shadow flickered at the door again. Another figure lingered, watching closely. Lily's heart sank. Who else could it be, and what could they possibly want with this moment? The weight of uncertainties hung in the air. What challenges lay ahead with this unexpected spectator? Would their newfound bond survive? Hope mingled with anxiety as they turned to face the newcomer, uncertainty surging within Lily once more. Lily's heart raced as the newcomer stepped into the gallery's warm light. Her breath hitched when she recognized the figure, Mrs. Knapp's estranged sister, who had heard about the exhibit through the grapevine. Lily felt like the gallery had become a stage, where old wounds were about to be reopened under the fierce light of public scrutiny. "Miriam?" Mrs. Knapp's voice quaked, a mixture of surprise and something deeper, perhaps regret. The air grew heavy, a thick fog of emotions swirling around them. "Edith," Miriam replied, her eyes piercing through the joyful atmosphere with a look that held years of heartache. "I came to see what you've done with yourself." The room quieted, all eyes shifting back and forth between the sisters, anticipation thick in the air. Lily instinctively stepped back, feeling like a pawn in a game of chess. Here they were, amidst colors of hope and inspiration, and yet, the shadow of the past threatened to overshadow it all. Mrs. Knapp looked frail as she swallowed hard, the weight of years filled with sorrow playing across her features. "I've been painting, Miriam," she said softly, the pride in her voice overshadowed by uncertainty. "And it matters." The courage that once shone in her eyes flickered uncertainly like a candle in the wind. "Matters to you, perhaps," Miriam shot back, her voice sharp like a knife. "You've chosen to hide away in this town, hiding in this art, and these," she waved her arm towards the gallery, "young dreamers." Lily felt each word land like stones in her stomach. Would this confrontation cause a schism that would silence Mrs. Knapp's artistic endeavors altogether? She fought back the urge to speak up. Joe, in her pursuing mindset, she discovered strength in her mentoring relationship with Mrs. Knapp instead. "Art isn't hiding, it's embracing," Lily finally blurted out, her voice trembling but strong. "These pieces speak of resilience, of real life. It's about connection." The crowd nodded, drawing energy from her words. "I'm part of this too," Mia interjected, stepping beside Lily. "What we share is community. We can't let negativity overshadow that." Mrs. Knapp deserves to be proud. With the audience rallied behind them, they had turned into a tangible wall of support for the artist who had poured her life onto the canvas. Miriam crossed her arms, looking for cracks in their unity. "And what do you know? You're just kids dabbling with paint." Challenging her pessimism, Mia responded, "But that's where the magic happens. We're learning that creativity is powerful. It can transform lives, just like it transformed Mrs. Knapp's." The crowd began to murmur in agreement, catching the rhythm of their echoing voices, a unifying force that drowned out the bitterness of Miriam's tone. Even Caleb, his paint-stained hands forgotten, leaned in closer, ready to defend his sister. Miriam, he began slowly, his voice low but resonant through the gallery. Perhaps it's time to understand what she has been through. Art is about healing. It's about embracing what we've lost and finding beauty in the journey. The tension shifted, everyone could feel it. Lily sensed a transformation happening, like spring succumbing to winter during a thaw. Miriam hesitated, her hardened exterior wavering under the warmth of their collective sentiment. Mrs. Knapp took a deep breath. We've all faced our battles, Miriam. It's not about hiding. It's about blooming in the face of adversity. As she spoke, a glimmer of understanding flickered in Miriam's eyes. Lily felt it vibrate through her being, an unyielding connection, not just between them, but within the entire room. This wasn't just about Mrs. Knapp or the paint on the canvas. It was about every individual who had faced adversity, each one adding their color to the communal palette of life. Miriam started slowly, her voice softening. I've been worried about you, Edie. I only wanted the best for you, but I can see how lost I've been too. The audience hushed, an air of disbelief and hope entwined. Art has always been your light, Mrs. Knapp replied gently, her voice breaking the silence like a fragile promise. I've carried the weight of choices made long ago, but with every brush stroke, I've also found a way to heal. And through this, perhaps we both can find a way back to each other. As those heartfelt words hung in the air, Lily watched as tears pooled in Miriam's eyes, silence settling into a quiet understanding. Maybe they could build a bridge between the years of separation. So maybe we can start to recreate our family, Miriam suggested hesitantly. It's never too late to show love. With courage lighting her path, Mrs. Knapp stepped forward, enveloping her sister in an embrace, a fragile, beautiful moment. The crowd erupted into applause, hearts intertwining like the strokes of a paintbrush across a canvas. Watching the raw joy unfold, Lily felt her heart swell with warmth. The power of connection and love had turned a moment of doubt into a vibrant tapestry of acceptance, creating a story of hope that would ripple outward from this gallery, touching more lives than they could ever imagine. Let us keep painting, Lily shouted as she picked up her brush again, joy cascading through her veins. Let us create stories of resilience for all to see. Let today spark our dreams, for all to bloom. And so, laughter and creativity filled the gallery, as the siblings entered a new chapter together, surrounded by supportive friends and neighbors ready to stand together side by side, celebrating the beautiful mess of life. One brush stroke at a time. To all of you reading this, remember, you have the power to turn dreams into reality, just like Lily and Mrs. Knapp did. Now, this is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories that promise to inspire. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, it really makes a difference. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. True fans unite. Let us keep our community thriving.